What's up, RSL Nation? It's another episode of Scarf Live podcast with your boy Adele and yeah, he's not here.
Levi.
Hey, Levi is here. The baker, my usual partner in crime, is out of town visiting the beautiful, I'm assuming, countrysides of the European Riviera. Am I saying that correctly, Levi?
Sounds good to me.
Right.
I'm glad I'm not
So,
there.
hey, I'm not. All right. I'll trade him. But while he's gone, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something we don't usually do. You know why? Because the baker does not like to be on camera. Right. And, we'll talk to him when he gets back. But this is going to be a super special episode for two reasons. One is he's not here. Two is Levi's here. Levi's our special guest today, an RSL diehard. I'll have him introduce himself in just a second. Before I go there, let me tell you 2.1. We're going to publish the video as well as the podcast. Hey, the baker. Snooze, you lose, buddy. So, Levi, why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself before we get into some heated topics about Real Salt Lake, the soccer club?
Well, thanks for the opportunity, Adele. Hello, RSL Nation. My name's Levi. I've been a season ticket holder since probably around 2012. I got excited about RSL when a couple of my buddies in the military were already season ticket holders, and they had to go on some army trip somewhere, and they said, "Hey, take my tickets." And I walked into the Rio's Tino Stadium, and I was hooked. So the next year, I went and bought season tickets, and me and my boys have been just loving it ever since. So I was actually deployed this last year, but my oldest son was 17, so he took full advantage of making it to pretty much every RSL game. So
He didn't
I,
mind, is what you're saying.
no, not at all.
Hey man, that's the way to do it. Me myself personally, 2005, I was at the very first game, right? But that's an exception, I think. But the Baker, actually, very similar story to yours. I took him to one game. I think it was LA at home, and it was one of those like 5-1 or 4-1 blowouts. And he's like, "Oh my God, this is beautiful." I literally think he might have bought season tickets the next day. Uh, Never, we haven't had a lot of games like that since. But once you get hooked, you're hooked, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Levi. So here's what we're gonna do, man. The way we usually do this, we do go through his. We're gonna tell them, then we tell them, then we tell them what we told them. Forget all that, right? So I think you and I have a very simple. Those who listen to us regularly know already. I'm a huge Petke and Petke strategy fan, right? But I have complained about half-assing two things instead of full-assing one thing. In this case, the two road games at Montreal and in New Jersey against Red Bull New York. By the way, quick side derailment. I've been to a few stadiums in this country, a few soccer-specific stadiums. Portland, Seattle, Dallas, Chicago, obviously here, a few others. Um, I think New York Red Bull Arena is one of the prettiest looking stadiums I've been to in my life. It's a damn shame that thing is half empty 99% of the time. Like I said, side note. My problem is that we started a half team on Wednesday and a half team on Saturday. As a result, lost both games. Uh, where I think the Montreal game was a more winnable game. Therefore, we should have started a full team and then do with what we have available to us on that Saturday game. What say you?
Well, when I look at that, I kind of look at that same thing as if the strategy would have been, let's go and take on one of these teams. Like when Atlanta came to play us, they didn't come to get a point. They came to play. So if we would have stacked up, went into Montreal, say, hey, let's get three on this one. And worst case scenario, maybe you end up with one. And then, hey, let's say you got 3 points in Montreal, and then you put together a half team, and maybe you battle well in New York, and maybe you pull a point out of there. Maybe you pull three out of there. But I think when, like you say, when you try to go in there, like, well, I'm going to half this one, because looking at the lineup we had in Montreal and the lineup we had in New York Red Bulls, we left really some big open spots, and Red Bulls punished us. They attacked those pieces that were just half stacked. And so,
Yeah.
granted, I can't coach better than Petke, but looking at those strategies, I'm with you on that. Maybe the strategy should have been, let's go in and full ass Montreal and then let things ride where they are in Red Bull. Maybe we get something.
So let me ask you this question. You watched, obviously, the game at Montreal with, I mean, it's not even a half-ass lineup. I don't know what that was, right? That was like some combination of, it's like a chemistry experience that went really bad, right? Or experiment, excuse me.
Yes.
If we start the full lineup, we're just spitballing here. Wednesday at Montreal, we start the full lineup. Full lineup meaning both of our fullbacks, right? The best available center backs. Let's just say people who have played together before, right? Do you think we have a better? Do you think we win that game? I know we're just making stuff up here, but do you think we win that game? Before I say the next thing, what do you think?
I think we do. And if I can just add right in there, you go across the country, which is always tough to go to East Coast, but we come from altitude. We play good at those lower elevations. Montreal is a hospitable climate. It's nice. So yeah, if you don't have a homegrown line in the back there, which is awesome to say that, yeah, you did a homegrown line, but what if you had, Toya, Herrera, Needham, and Silva, or Needham and Glad? What do you got there? That right, or that's already improved your chance so much more. So yeah, I think we win it
drastically. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, you're okay, man. Hey, I think you're good for this podcast, by the way. Let's keep going. So you actually hit the nail on the head with the outside backs, right? Our defensive backs. We played in Montreal. I think we started Toya, and in New York we started Herrera. Isn't that? Yeah, Herrera. We started Herrera on the left side, and then for some reason we started Lennon again. I made this point a couple of podcasts ago when I said this. It took us a third of the year, a third of the season, to figure out what I think is the best available starting lineup. And I'm eating, dirt on this. I'm eating my words on this, because I thought from the beginning of the year, I thought Lennon was our best right back and Herrera was our best left back, until Toya got a couple of games under his belt.
Yeah, wow.
And oh my God, I completely changed my mind. And then on top of Toya doing really well on the left side, Herrera was, it seemed to me, like twice the player on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
So if we just spend a third of the season, I mean, we've dropped points along the way, because that's what happens, right? We spend a third of the season figuring out what our best lineup is, at least in the back in this case. We haven't even gotten to the rest yet. But why risk that? I don't get it. This is my problem with Petke in this particular case. Why try to go for maybe in Montreal and also a maybe in New York? Why not just put it all on the line, go out and try to get 3 points in Montreal, and then it's bonus whatever happens in New York? Do you think at any point the Lennon starting made any sense for either of these games?
So I've tried to rationalize this. Again, I'm not Petke. I'm not there at the practices. I don't see the stuff the team collectively does there. Lennon, all these guys are, obviously professional soccer players, but it's evident to the rest of us, hey, this guy went over, was it Liverpool that he was, went over there to play with their U20s, and like it wasn't right back that he went up there and played at. He hasn't made himself a potentially amazing player by playing right back.
Right.
But I'm with you. He came in, he played right back. He started developing. I don't know if something changed from what we were doing last year, and then the new strategies this year changed some of that. But as soon as Toya was inserted, I was like, this is unexpected, and it's a beautiful thing. So, but I'm confused as to why we, both games we play Lennon, but we push Herrera in both games to the opposite side. So it's, obviously to play Lennon on the right, but Herrera, I think they attacked in the Red Bulls. I think they attacked it. They saw that as Herrera's on the opposite side and Lennon's on the right.
Well, I mean, the first goal,
Yeah.
Again, the Baker's not here, thank God, right now, because he keeps calling this out against me. That first goal was a matter of a defender not being capable or not as capable using his left foot
Hmm.
as he is his right foot, right? And I hate to just sum it down to that one play. It's an unfortunate play, and I get it. But we know better. I really think, and this is the microcosm of everything. I think the decision to start or not start Herrera in Montreal, and then start Lennon in New York, is the microcosm of the greater approach to these two games. Again, of half-assing two games instead of
Hmm.
full-assing one. Just my 2 cents. All right, man. Let's carry on for just a second here. Joao Plata. There's a name we haven't seen on the lineup in a while. Gave it a good old college try in Montreal. Window shopping, do you think? Do we actually think Joao Plata was going to have a good game at this point? Or do you think we're just putting him out there to see if he can increase a couple of dollars in his value? Though I don't think he did us or himself any favors in that case.
Yeah, that's a good note. So I think on this one we're looking at, they did this last year. His agent did this last year, and now if they're window shopping or if there's a deal almost done, they're looking at what they're buying, and we're looking at what we're selling. And so if they haven't
Yeah.
agreed on a price already, that's too bad. In Montreal, watching those, we'd get him right up on there, probably about what 30 yards out, and then he'd do a pass up to the box, intercepted it was the same play every time,
Yeah.
picked off, and it was like, I don't know how our pass efficiency was 84% that night, but it was fruitless.
It was all the little passes in the back.
Yeah.
Those 8-yard passes are really efficient. Okay, so you're not sold on Plata. I've made my voice very clear on this. It's time for Plata to go. Love the guy. Personally, I think he has contributed or been part of some of the greater moments in RSL history. But I just think it's right. It's time. It's just time. Do you
Yeah.
think there's any reason to keep him?
No, I think his growth is in front of him somewhere else. Uh, I don't know how he would come back into the system that Petke's got out there and be productive with it, because it hasn't happened this season at all. There hasn't been a flash for me that says Plata's your guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. And I think it's been a couple of years actually. I
Yeah.
don't think he's done much last year. He's got at least what the difference for me last year to this year is that last year he had moments of brilliance.
Hmm.
They might have been brief, but they were there. I don't even remember a moment of brilliance this year. All I
Yeah.
remember is him coming in at towards the end. I think he had a couple of like 20, 30-minute appearances, plus the one in Montreal, and just kind of head hanging and my God, a guy like that fast, that quick, that skillful, coming in at the 75th minute, should be able to just run circles around people. I mean, just run
Yep.
circles around dudes. And I haven't seen any moments of their brilliance this year. Am I missing something? I don't think so,
No,
right?
unfortunately, I haven't either, and I like to have, because he's been one of our, like, a couple years ago. He was just so fun to watch out there. Dynamic, quick little runs in. He's hard to defend when he's breaking a box. But yeah, those moments of brilliance this year, I haven't seen anything. Like, he's either coming to kill a game and it's been slow, or to try to catch a game, and it just didn't pan out for us.
Yeah, nothing has worked for him. Time for him to go. Plata, love you, baby. Love you. I saw Plata about 2 or 3 years ago downtown at one of the it was a nightclub, I think. I was there with a friend for a drink. He was wearing one of the most amazing outfits I've ever seen in my life. It was a pair of jeans. It was a denim jacket and a denim shirt. I mean, he was just Canadian tuxedo, top to bottom, man. It was it was one of the most amazing things I've seen in my life. I mean, it takes a certain level of gravitas to wear that out in public. It was pretty cool, actually. All right, man. Sam Johnson. I said publicly after the Wednesday game that Sam Johnson might have been the only bright spot in that Montreal game. Now, I'll ask you in a bit here whether there were any bright spots in the New York game. I can't think of any. Well, I called out one, Nick Romando, but we can get into him in just a second. Sam Johnson, not having really played well in Montreal, the only bright spot there is that I do think the typical or prototypical number 9 out there has a fragile ego. We have seen it happen, Saborio. We have seen it happen with Ura. We've seen it happen with what's his face that was here for like 3 minutes, the Spaniard.
Artuño.
Ortuño, yes, yeah, that's how big of a role he played. I can't even think of his. And Sam Johnson seems like a hard worker. Seems like a dude that puts his head down and just works. Sure, he had a couple of stupid statements, but I'm trying to make no mistake about it. I do think he's still a number 9. He's still fragile, a fragile ego, and thus having him score that goal in Montreal was good for him. Good for us in the long term, but good for him. What are your thoughts on Sam Johnson's performance overall over the past couple of games? And no, let's just keep it at Sam Johnson. I don't know who the hell else did well.
Yeah. Well, Sam Johnson, Montreal, and even at New York, he's got that. I think you guys, you and the Baker talked about it before, that he's a poacher like Wondolowski a little bit. He has that eye. He has that recognition of what space is available and can do something. So when he's saying, "Hey, get me the ball," he knows he can create chances up there with it. So that's what I think what he's saying, and that's what we're seeing. I know some of the comments about him. He's always offsides. He's always offsides. That's probably by design. Show your offsides. Show your offsides. Lull the back line into some comfort with you. Step up, not be offsides, out sprint him, and get those opportunities. And we've seen that out of him, and he is lethal. So, up there, if you can't get him the ball, he doesn't have a poor performance because we're not getting him the ball. I think for me, that portion of the game in the attacking mids, getting the ball forward, has been challenging. Whether we're bringing it from the wings on the outside or bringing it up through the middle, I wanted to see the ball more at Krylock and more at Rusnak's feet, because I just don't, I think a lot of us are saying, I'm not seeing enough out of Rusnak, but are we putting the ball at his feet for him to do something with it? And some better tactical soccer minds probably got a better grip of what that is. But now we're without, as we go from Montreal into New York, Rusnak's injured and Krylock's on yellow card suspension. So now that whatever the team had planned, whatever Mike Petke had planned for New York, now has to be adjusted to fill in for those two openings, whether if he was going to bring them in at 65 minutes or whether he was going to play them to 65 minutes. And now, we don't know when, but we do know the result, and that's what hurts. So brilliance, like you say, Raimondo, Johnson. Other than that, I know just I think Saucedo's, his comments were communication. And that was a clear breakdown of communication in New York.
Man, is that kid growing on me? Both of them. That kid, I mean, he's doing all the right things, and I don't think it's acting at this point. I think he's too immature to act, right?
Yeah.
I really think it's genuine, just because I don't think he knows better, and I honestly think it's genuine. I said this a couple of months ago. There were flashes of Plata from when he first joined us, the first year or two. I'm totally seeing Plata from that era. I'm seeing a Plata from that era in what he's doing right now. That kid is absolutely amazing me. So yeah, both overall, I want to say, I've been saying for the longest time that probably our best player of the year so far was Everton. Then he missed a few games and he's been back, but so, right? I mean, it was his first full game in New York, I think. I am starting to flirt with the idea whether it might be Bofo. just kind of overall perform. I mean, look, our performance year to date hasn't been anything to write home about. But I loved what Everton was doing, and right behind them, I think still is Bofo. It's the goals, sure, but it's also the off the ball play. Do you think? Well, first of all, what do you think about his performance so far? But more importantly, in my opinion, because we get down to, well, we can talk about the right side too. I think there's no chance in hell Baird starts over Severino, which I don't think Baird is in number 9. My opinion. So it's between Bofo and Baird on the left side. So A, what do you think about Bofo's performance so far year to date? And secondly, what's the comparison in your head between Baird and Bofo? Any chance Baird takes over Bofo? I'm structuring this argument in a way that will make you answer a certain way. I get that. Just go off the cuff, man. Talk how you
Yeah.
want.
Okay. So Bofo, I'm absolutely impressed. I'm not seeing a lot of horrible play out of him. He's got drive. He is tenacious out there. Do you remember when we had Man United here and he got like 20 minutes into the game and he was just really clicking at the heels of all those Premier League players, and I think someone coming and fouled him hard that ended up getting ejected from the game, and they were trying to rotate or sub him out. Even Mike Petke was like, "Hey, you should probably sub him out so you don't have to lose a player." But he's just always played with that level of tenacity, and apparently, from his comments, we see that it is effort that's getting them those starting spots, and maybe more of an effort, like maybe that's what the focus is on. Who wants it more is going to be who fits into the strategy better. Now, Bofo and Baird, if we're talking left side. That game when Atlanta, when Bofo reeled up on the top of the line and he was going to shoot with the other foot this time and show us that he is good at both feet, and it didn't pan out for him. But I like that he was showing us that he's not just a right-footed guy. He can do this. Baird, I see Baird as being good to service from either side. But right now, if I'm just plainly going off of what I've seen so far this year, Baird doesn't take over Bofo, but Baird does have skills. That's why he's penned up on the men's team for the big roster. So
Yeah.
they're both brilliant. It's a good problem to have.
Oh, it's a brilliant problem to have.
Yeah.
I mean, all Bofo, Severino, Caicedo. I mean, Bofo, Severino, and Baird all deserve to start. But there are only 2 spots, right? There are only 2 spots to go around, and the New York experience with Severino playing Rushnak's position, it didn't work so well, did it?
Nah.
I mean, on paper, I can see why you would think it could, maybe, potentially. I mean, he's a very skilled player, but it just didn't. So you agree with me that ideal lineup, Baird is not starting, right? Is there any chance he's starting over Sam Johnson in the middle?
I think, again, it's a beautiful problem to have. But do I start him over Sam Johnson? Not yet.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, man. So none of those guys did okay. I mean, they did okay. I'm really happy with Sam Johnson's goal on Wednesday. Yada, yada, yada. Good enough. All right. Here's the sad thing, in my opinion. All right. I think Nick Rimando was our player of the match in New York, and he conceded 4 goals. How sad is that? I think I did a post-match quickie by myself where I just rambled. I didn't even listen to it, honestly, afterwards. I could think it could have been 5, 6, 7-0 without Nick Rimando. Well, without Nick Rimando doing things we expect Nick Rimando to do. I think 9 out of 10 other goalies in the league, if they do that, that's like their best save of the game. But it's just Nick Rimando. He's doing crazy things, and we expect it from him. Am I missing something? Am I just so depressed by that game that I'm completely missing someone's brilliant performance? Did anyone else stick out to you in New York?
No, when the first half, they're driving up there, and we're seeing Royer just be the guy that's like be able to beat his mark. He's able to get in there. They drove it up they drive it up that right side. They could drive it up the left side. That when they burned Herrera a couple times, I mean, we're seeing they had that. Now we were resilient in that first half, but they were building on us.
Yep.
And so if we're just talking about the first half alone, yeah, Nick can't say. I mean, that guy, he should have had. There should have been 5 difficult obstacles before the ball ever got to him for him to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that can't hold on. Like you're right, that could have been a 7. Could have been 7, like or more. Like look at all the shots they were taking in the first half. I don't have a stat in front of me, but they had a lot of good opportunities. If it wasn't a shot on goal, there were opportunities there that were dangerous.
Any chance you blame any of that defensive breakdown on the Kyle Beckerman insertion into the game? I mean, this is like sacrilegious thing to say, but any chance?
So as we go across the halftime, go into second half. So we've got Nick Beasler, by the way, who has been winning me over too. Like I don't know about everyone else. Like he's been impressive to watch. But sticking with that, like he suffers they're doing some concussion protocol with him or something. So we do the halftime substitution. Bringing Kyle back. Kyle's an enforcer, but we're asking him to move laterally across the field. He's and I can't keep up with that guy, but he's a workhorse. He's going to do everything he can. What I saw out of Kyle was he was north of the line. We don't usually see him cross up on the line and do that. He had a couple of sweet passes up to Bofo, Sobrino's direction that were great. And so as you're watching that, you're like, hey, and this is of course before the own goal, right? And you're like, hey, something's going to happen here. We're doing something here. But you're right. It's borderline sacrilegious to draw the stats together to say when we're playing Kyle, we're not getting the result we want. But we're a collection. Like when we're playing Atlanta, we're a collection of everyone on that field doing things right. We are good. We do good things. There's a lot to improve off of that Atlanta game, but that was a very good opponent coming in to do some damage. And with what we had on the field, we did a great job collectively. In the last 2 games, the collective wasn't happening. I didn't see that collectiveness. And for the midfield, this is Kyle's first time really back there in the swing of things. You'd expect it to be a little disjointed. But I think without the own goal, so I'm just going to skip to this part right here, why we talk about Kyle. The own goal was a meltdown, and kudos to New York. They jumped on that. They immediately pounced. That's what I call putting the foot on the throat of your opponent. They did it. They knew it was like, hey, let's kick them right now while they're dragging their head a little bit. And then 2 became 3 and 3 became 4.
Quickly.
Either if we and then and there's going to be some further discussion on obviously how the lack of substitution pattern happened after that, or the lack of tactical adjustment. But for Kyle and the midfield, there was something there was that disjointed. There wasn't that collective thing happening because we're looking at Everton and Bex both not fully collectively. Those two, like you said, Everton's been one of the great picks we've got this year, and yet since he's come back from his injury, he's been behind on the passes.
Yeah,
and collectively playing in the midfield, it's been disjointed.
Yeah, it's funny how you start noticing those. I mean, they're literally half-second differentiations, right? So he's half a second late on the pass. The whole thing looks stupid, completely looks stupid. What worries me the most, I think, from the last couple of games, and again, I'm not coaching this team, right? I don't see them day to day. But what I think I would have noticed if I am coaching them, screw coaching them, if I'm just hanging out with them every day, is how fragile this team is, right? Which means the momentum. To give you an idea, we conceded 3 in 7 minutes or something, or 10 minutes. I can't even remember. I mean, it was literally 1-0. I went to get a drink. I came back. There was 2-0. Like, how do you concede quicker than I can pour a beer? That doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah. So we're
So
looking at the 58, 59, and 64. So in a matter of 6 minutes, there's 3 goals.
6 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so that just tells, and it's just all downhill from there, right? So it's
Hmm.
four there. That's why I mean it could have been worse. So, but that brings me to my larger point, which is to reinforce the earlier point. We are a team of runs. What worries me is that we don't have the type of personality to go down 1-2, or even concede 1-2 in like 2 minutes, and then within the next remainder of the game balance it out, collect our heads, and get back into the game. I have not seen us do that yet. Sure, we had a couple of late game winners, but we weren't behind, right? We were not playing catch up to that point. It's really troublesome and worrisome to me. I think, well, it doesn't bode well right now because he was on the pitch, but I always used to say that that's one of the strengths that someone like a Nick Romando brings to the team. And I
Hmm.
also think that was one of the strengths that someone like a Javi Morales brought to the team back in the days, which is the kind of guy, just like, let's say, LA Galaxy has that with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, obviously overstating things here slightly a bit, but the kind of guy where the rest of the team in the middle of the game, because unless you're in that game as it's happening, you can't really understand the kind of level of desperation. You're just sinking, right?
Yep.
And but there's always that one guy you can look over at him and say, you know what, he's been there, he's done this, and as long as he believes, we'll be all right. And I always thought Kyle Beckerman served that, and I think he still does, but not to the point of someone like a Javi Morales did. It really worries me. I'm not sure if maybe Damir Kreilach is that guy now. I mean, he was the
Yeah.
one big missing name
Yeah.
in Jersey or at New York. I just the lack of, I don't want to say the lack of personality, but the lack of heart. They all got heart. I think the lack of, well, I guess it is. But let's stop sugarcoating it. We don't have enough personality to overcome something in the middle of the game and make it back into it, which
Yeah.
is, I think, deadly, especially in the playoffs, especially with the new format where you got one
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah. One shot. So it's always been said that in soccer, the 2 point lead is the most dangerous lead to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, but so apparently Red Bulls knew that, so they put three in to get themselves away from that. But the yeah, trying to see like in Montreal, we pull one back. We're seeing, and so I'd like to see us build on that. Build, like you say, build on that personality, that character, that drive. Have a couple players out there with that motivational leadership to, hey, you know what? We can't change that ball that just hit the back of the net. And what we can do now is put one in the back of this net up in front of us. Trying to find where those players are. I'm with you on Kreilach. I've been impressed with his leadership on the pitch during Kyle's absence. It's been very positive, and seeing uh, him step up and really form that center field a little bit and form an attack at times has been it's been pretty evident that he's got a grip on it, and I can see why they've selected him to wear the band. So
yeah.
I think we got good things ahead of us if that's where that's going. But back to Kyle, this guy is just the just a foundation to this club, and so coming off an injury, like say the disjointed, it's not the flow. Like for me, I'm looking at where we're at. Uh, you know, where's that one player that can come in and hit in the midfield? That's like a Luke Mulholland. Where's Luke? Where are some of these guys? And Luke, maybe like his injury has been because have we played him at all this year?
No.
We haven't played him at all, and he's I don't think he even traveled for this.
Oh, he
But
didn't.
I don't at least he wasn't in the substitutes for the Red Bulls. So, but
I've seen him warm up a couple of times
yeah,
at Rio Tinto, but that's about it.
yeah. So, but finding those guys, and I think they pulled up Portillo because of his success down on the Monarchs as someone who can maybe has a little bit of that fire. So they're trying him out. I think it's too early to make a decision
Yeah.
on Portillo, but I do think the coaching staff's trying to work that out. It's hard for us as fans to stand back and watch it collapse
Yeah.
versus maybe just be stagnant, but to have it collapse like that, that made for some unhappy members of the fan base.
Yeah. Not good enough. Let me ask
Yep.
about one more guy, and I've been as of late critical of him. Not because of his performance. I think his performance is okay. I think
Mhm.
he's one of our better players. However, I do think he's our most important player, which is Albert Rusnak.
Mhm.
All right. So with the kind of price tag he comes with, and with the type of position he plays for us, there is never going to be a day where he's not compared to Javi Morales. It's just
Yep.
it just goes hand in hand. All right. So it's not just the most important player on our team. I think it's the most important position on our team. Right?
Mhm.
It always has been. I know we've changed formations a bit here and a bit there. He's been good. I think he needs to be better. I think Albert Rusnak might be the most. If Albert Rusnak plays well, in my opinion, we do well. If he doesn't play well, we don't do well. And if he doesn't
Mhm.
play at all, then we saw what happened.
Yep. So on this one, Adele.
Am I unreasonably critical? You talk while I go
Okay.
refill my drink.
Yeah. So no. What I see here is okay. The two things, and then you named the first one. We can't compare him to Javi. He's not Javi Morales. However, our scheme, our strategy, our game plan up there, like I said earlier, we're not seeing the ball at his feet enough. The distribution to him is is lacking, and if that has to come from the wings or from the rest of the midfield, we're not if we don't feed that position, which you're right, that's we've got a world class player right there. We've got a
Yeah.
world, and with the price tag we're paying for him, and we know what he's capable of. What is he? 24 years old now. He doesn't want to
Sounds
be.
all right.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be. Uh, he wants to build a portfolio because
Mm-hmm.
he either wants to be able to make a bigger name and a bigger uh, career out of the MLS or go back to Europe. And he obviously, subs, so plain Jane stats aren't going to do it for him. But what is our game plan? What's coaches, staff's game plan for putting the ball up to him so he can further distribute? Because again, you've got killers up there. If you can, if you're pushing Baird and Salcedo and Savarino and Sam Johnson, and you've got a guy there who can feed those type of players up in the front, we should be looking at, some finishing touches that are just amazing. And especially someone like Sam who understands that space and time
Yeah.
and movement. I mean, I think we're missing out on some opportunity there. My deduction is we're not putting the ball at his feet. So we put the ball at Rusnak's feet. I think Rusnak's going to do better, and in turn, the team's going to do better. I have to agree
So
with that.
so you think it's a system then?
Yep,
In other
I
words,
think it's a system. I think if Krylock and uh, Rusnak aren't touching the ball more, we're I'll have to see if I can run some stats on it. I think that is giving us less opportunities to distribute the ball up the front.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Totally makes sense. I think someone like Albert Rusnak should touch the ball more. I also think someone like him should demand the ball more and
yeah,
play himself into these positions where he touches the ball more. So I
yeah.
do get that. All right, man. So let's get off the soapbox for just a second. Next game, U.S. Open Cup, and we were so fortunate. We drew the absolutely like on fire LAFC. Not sure if you watched the game at Portland. Completely ruined their
Oh
homecoming.
my gosh. Yeah, welcome home, Portland.
Yeah, here's 3 for your troubles.
Yeah.
Um, LAFC is out for blood. All right, I follow their social media. I know a few guys out there. We actually did a co thingy with the guy from heart of LAFC. Really good guys. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
really know their stuff. A lot of them are former Chivas guys,
Yeah.
which they don't mind, and they hate us for knocking them out of the playoffs last year. Understandable. I hate every
Yeah.
team that has ever knocked us out of the playoffs, except I lost count. So there's that. And they're coming out for, I mean, they're out for blood. All right. So let me ask you this question. Historically speaking, look, I think we're stupid for not taking the Open Cup more seriously. There's no easier way into the Champions League than the US Open Cup. And most teams don't take it seriously. As a result, the scrub of every year wins it. I still remember I have a scar up here somewhere in my heart from that final against DC a few
DC
years ago.
United.
My God,
They
right?
were the worst. I want to say they were the worst in the league that year.
Oh, by far. It wasn't even
Like they weren't
close.
even close, right?
Yeah, no, they were by far the worst team in the league. I mean, the scar is not as big as the Monterrey scar, but hey, or the SKC scar. Whole different stories here, okay? But I have a feeling we are again not going to take it serious. Except I don't know what the heck our excuse is going to be this year. It's always been midweek game. We got a Saturday game. And we're going to play USOC on like a Wednesday. And then we got a Saturday game again. Therefore, we don't take it serious. We got like a week and a half off
Yep, 10
before the
days.
game.
10,
And
11 days,
almost,
right?
yeah, and almost a week off after that.
Mm-hmm.
We have to take this serious, especially after just having lost two horrific games on the road, and after all the rest, and especially against such an opponent. If we're playing Columbus or even Seattle, it doesn't matter. If you're playing anyone else, even a team that's potentially better than them, that should be equally as important. I don't. Again, going back to our weakness of character, oh no, well, character or just kind of momentum. I think a win against a team like an LAFC, especially to kick them out of the cup, finish their season in that area, would do wonders. I think we won't start anywhere near our starting lineup.
Well,
You think?
let's run this down real quick. So we'll have Johnson, right? He's not going on international duty.
Mm-hmm.
But we lose Krylock and Rusnak.
Oh, did we lose Kralak?
Is he going to go play with Croatia?
I haven't heard of that one. I
I'll
know
have to check on
Rusnak
that.
is going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rusnak's going, and
I mean, Kralak is good. Croatia is pretty freaking stacked, though. So I would be surprised if he was going. Yeah.
Baird's on men's team duty. As of right now, he hasn't been cut. They haven't reduced the squad down yet for the camp, right?
I haven't seen that. Yeah. I know Hefferson is gone.
Savarino's gone, right?
Yep.
So, yeah. So, and then, yeah. So I think we're not going to have that team available to us that we should have. So if Krylock is gone, then it's going to be interesting to see how we put this together to play them. And I would like to see us put the best lineup we have, whoever it is. Like I would like to see us put not like pull up 8 Monarch players and play it and just, hey, if we win, we're on to the next round. I think that we start in the 4th round, right? All the 100 teams have come up this far.
Yeah,
so this is the first one.
We're in the 4th.
Yep. We play. So, but yeah, this is, hey, I don't think that LA's taking this lightly. I think they're going to bring in their best lineup with, because they're going to have guys on international duty too. But I would like to see us I would like us to do the World Cup, because right now, looking at how our season's going, we're fair to middling. We're that 7th place shot, and if we continue this way, we might be sitting at right there anywhere from 5th to 7th as we go into the playoffs. So hey, maybe having an Open Cup is gonna get us back into the Champions League. I like the respect we got to be in the Leagues Cup for later in July. I like that. That's some respect, and I don't know if they built that on a couple of the different rivalries we had, so they gave us Tigres. But I like it. Let's do it. And I think we should take that serious, and I think we should take the Open Cup seriously.
So let me tell you this. So we can probably talk about the Tigres game another time. I think there's let me calculate it. 0% chance we're gonna take the Tigres game seriously. 0. If even 0, unless we're contractually obligated, which is
and now I have
shame.
a sad face. Thanks a lot.
Look, the final is in September in Vegas. I just want to go to Vegas in September, all right? And this might be my only chance to go to Vegas this year. So all I want the team is to get me to Vegas by just making it there, right? I think there's 0% chance we're going to take the Tigres game seriously. we're gonna keep firing up the crowds, and I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not. I think there's a higher chance we take the Open Cup seriously, but still small, which just doesn't make sense to me.
Mhm.
This has never made sense to me. We took it serious 1 year, and we made it to the finals. All right, so why not take it, especially against someone like an LAFC, and especially for us fans, not even the players. Forget the players, forget the club. I know that's a silly thing to say, but LAFC is getting up there with the more annoying clubs in fan bases, right? I mean, they'll never touch the Atlanta United. No one is ever going to touch Seattle. Portland is up there. NYCFC was up there for like a minute,
Mhm.
but then it came down to they're not real fans. LA Galaxy, I don't know. They're all LAFC fans right now. But I really I want that game so that they don't have that on us. It doesn't even matter if they knock us out in the playoffs later or whatever. It doesn't matter. We can finish their season in 2 different cups in 2 years, back to back. I just think that would be pretty awesome. So I really hope we take it seriously. If by any chance, by some kind of accident, someone that knows Mike Petke directly hears this, tell him we'd like a win. All right, my friend. My list is all checked off now. What else we got to talk about?
Let's see if I've got anything left on mine. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just quickly talk about uh, Open Cup's Open Cup. We have the break on the 22nd of June. We go to Chicago. We travel to Chicago, the Windy City. Uh, I don't know if we've ever really had our best games up there. I have to look at what the history is on that, but I think that's where we're going to start off. We'll still be short a couple international players at that time.
Yeah.
I don't think we get like Savarino back until July. So there's and it's another away game. And I think I think we can learn a lot about what they do on their break. First of all, how do we play that Open Cup game, and then what's that going to do for us going in and playing our getting back into league play after the break? And are we a team that is going to pick ourselves up after Red Bulls and Montreal and take it out to the Chicago Fire and put a good product on the field that produces some results?
You saying this is a good character test for us. I totally
Absolutely.
agree with you. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I think LAFC just itself is a good character test for us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they're made of, because I might be oversimplifying this, but I honestly think I mean, let's say we start a decent lineup against LAFC. At the very latest, I think we have a game here July 3rd ish, something like that. I can't remember. I know I'm missing it, which is really sad
Mm-hmm.
because it's my turn to go to Europe. It's extremely. I think by that point we're gonna know what this team is made of. I'm gonna call it right now. Shocker. Close your ears if you don't want any spoilers. RSL is not going to win any cups this year. Maybe the US Open Cup might be the only one. RSL is not going to win the Supporter Shield. RSL is not going to win the MLS Cup this year. If there was one really good other team, I could say, okay, I can see us getting hot at the right time and upsetting that team. No, I think there are too many other good teams there, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like last year, we overcame one game we should have never won on paper. And then reality set in. I think this year the league is more stacked, especially the West. All right, so what you do a complete upset over LAFC, right? So LA Galaxy is real good.
Mm-hmm.
Houston is somehow suddenly real good. Seattle is real good. Portland is below us in the standings, but Portland has like almost the rest of the season to play at home, so we know they're going to catch up. It's just the league is too stacked. I think we're going to show a character, and whether we have any chance of winning anything by that first week in July. Just my 2 cents. I still don't think we're winning it. It doesn't matter what we show between now and then. And I love Bofo's enthusiasm, right? Because he said, why not win it this year? Yeah, why not? Let's do it. Not gonna happen though. I think the league is too good. And guess what? You make it out of the West. What are you facing on the East? I mean, there's
Yeah.
just too many uncertain. I mean, this is not RSL from like 2011 through or 2010 through like 2014 or 15, where almost every year, we were the favorites to win the cup. Never
Yeah.
did, but we're the favorites to win the cup. What was that one year we conceded like 20 goals all year or something? I mean, that's stupid. That's how good that is. That's stupid. We don't have those kinds of teams. Oh, RSL Nation's gonna love me for this one.
Well,
Anything else?
yeah. So on that subject, real quick, I think as most of the fans, a lot of us, pretty objective, and we understand the talent we face on these other teams. Uh, I have to agree with Brian Dunseth. We have so much talent. We've got great depth, but what are we doing with it when we put it on the field together? What's that collective product doing? And there's things like again, they're all professional soccer players, and the coach. I know, like I know these formations were practiced a couple times before the game happens because they had to know what they were facing. But at the same time, the other team's ability to exploit our weaknesses and us not be able to, repel it or counterattack it, becomes a problem. So, but the big thing I would like to tell RSL Nation is I would like to see us use that depth, all that talent, and find that collective strategy that's going to, hey, maybe we don't win the cups, maybe we don't get any hardware out of this year, but if we have a strong showing and we get up there to could put ourselves in the third or fourth position in the West and be in the top 6 to 8 teams in the league this year would be a substantial accomplishment, and it would provide some great play for us to enjoy at Rio Tinto and to watch on their away games. That's what we want to see. We want to see our team put the good product out on the field, and hey, maybe we build. And hey, who do we pick up at July 1st? I don't know. Maybe there's something there that's just going to really turn us on and give us something else to look at how we're going to play the game and put the product on the field.
Yeah, that missing piece that no one knows what it is. So I love it, man. Look, I really hope you're right, and I hope even more that I'm wrong, and we win something other than the Rocky Mountain Cup. All right, that's a non-competition right now. And hey, at the end of the day, from my perspective, this is the way I see it. I don't care if we do well or no. Walk it back. I'm gonna be there every game, including for the next forever, unless they kick me out of the stadium forever for lifetime because I threw like a confetti in the air or something. Because that seems to be the trend right now. No matter what happens, right? I actually got accused of like I should go support some other team because I was so negative a couple of weeks ago. The only reason I'm negative, the only reason any of us are negative about things and critical about things is because we care.
Yep.
You don't want people like me or you don't want people to just not care, because you know who we then become is Atlanta fans, right? That's you don't want us to not care, and results are important but secondary. Show heart. Let's play some footy, man. Let's have some fun. It is all about the community, that what's being put on the field. However, at the end of the day, we do have to get some results, and I agree. We have a lot of talent, and if he can't put it together, it's the coach's fault. And I love me some Mike Petke. I hope Mike Petke is our coach forever. Like he reminds me of Jason Kreis. So other than Jason Kreis, who left us despite us not wanting him to leave us, he's, I think, the funnest coach we've ever had, and I just want him to forever be our coach. I just also need him to I need him to not make stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're brilliant. They just look like mistakes to people like me. And that's all. Yeah. And I'm okay. Come at me, RSL Nation.
Yeah. I think it'd be a great
right.
problem, Adele, for you to have that. You come on here on Scarf Life, and you look at this lineup and you say, what is he thinking? But it's a moment of brilliance, and they go into Red Bulls and the 4-0 goes the other way. That would be that would be ideal. I think we could all eat bowls of crow every day if that's
Yeah,
what it was.
dude, I have eaten my words many times before,
Yep.
all right, including most recently Herrera on the right and Toya on the left. I was not a fan in the beginning, but hey. All right, my friend. That's all we have for the evening, I believe. RSL Nation, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. It's been new and different. I hope you enjoy listening to this. Join the conversation. We'll have another one coming for you real soon. Levi, you wanna walk us out? Say goodbye.
Yeah, RSL Nation, Scarf Life, thank you. Adele, thanks for the invite. And let's go win us an Open Cup game.
All right, Levi. Hang around.